Hi folks, I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Saturday, the 12th of April 2025, and in today's video I'm going to decipher for you Psalm 85. Okay, now Psalm 85 has 13 verses, and these are all millennial kingdom prophecies. Okay, as you shall see in a moment. Now I'm going to be linking each prophecy here with other prophecies in the Bible. Okay, so as always, I do have a program and it's actually 6 pages long. So yeah, we got quite a fair bit to get through. So let's get right into it. Okay. Now on verse one, it reads, "Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land." Okay. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Now, of course, this is gonna be happening when Jesus comes back for the millennial kingdom to be the king of Israel. The fact that it says here, Lord, thou hast been favorable unto the land, and thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. This prophecy then is linked to a whole range of Bible prophecies. Think also about when Jesus comes back, to rebuild the new city of Jerusalem, the new fourth temple that we can read upon on Ezekiel chapter 48. Think about those prophecies which said that he's going to restore the land of Israel and things like that. So is linked to a huge array of prophecies within the Bible. Okay, I'm just gonna give you some examples according to my program. Okay, so on verse one, Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land, thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Of course, this is a millennial kingdom prophecy, which is linked to many prophecies upon the second coming of Jesus. Some examples include Isaiah chapter 2, verses 4 and 5, Isaiah 9:7, Isaiah 11, verses 6 to 10, Isaiah 24:23, and Isaiah 27:6 is a classic one, and it reads, "He shall cause them that came of Jacob to take root." Okay, Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit. Okay, and then you also have Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 18, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so I'm just giving you here a classic one, but there are so many prophecies that are linked to how Jesus is going to be favorable upon the land when he comes back to be the king of Israel. So there's more than all of these ones. Okay, so this requires a fair bit of deep analytical thinking. You really need to think how the Lord is going to be favorable when he comes back to Israel. Like I just mentioned at the beginning, he's going to be rebuilding, the new city of Jerusalem, the new fourth temple. You can include those in Ezekiel 48 if you like, plus a whole array of other prophecies, okay? And I just gave you this classic one from Isaiah 27:6, he shall come, he shall cause them that came of Jacob to take root, okay? Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit, okay? Then verse 2, thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people, thou hast covered all their sin. Of course, this prophecy is actually linked to Romans 11:26. Okay, now this Romans 11:26 is actually a millennial kingdom prophecy upon the second coming of Jesus. Okay, and so all Israel shall be saved. We know that 1/3, those living in the land are gonna make it through, according to Zechariah chapter 13. And so those that make it through, then all of us will be saved. Okay, as it is written, they shall come out of Zion, their deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. This prophecy is also not only linked to Romans 11:26, but also Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 13, where it reads, "The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid." It's also linked to Psalm 80, verse 19, and you can also see Jeremiah chapter 31, verses verse 34. Okay. Now let's go to verse 3. You can read as prophecies for yourself, so we don't keep this video too long. Okay. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath, thou hast turned thyself from the fierceness of thy anger. Okay, so this verse 3 here, I have a link to Psalm 14 verse 7, Psalm 29 verse 11, Isaiah 2:5, and let me just turn over the page. And also Isaiah 12:1, which is a classic one. And in that day thou shalt say, O Lord, I will praise thee. Thou was angry, okay? So God is not going to be growth anymore. Thou was angry with me. Thy anger is turned away, and thou comfortest me, okay? Also, another classic one to link it to verse 3 is actually Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 17. And it reads, For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds. Okay, so the fact that he's saying this is that God is no longer going to be angry anymore. Okay, said the Lord, because they call thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Okay, so let me just quickly arrange the page here. Now we go into verse 4. Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thy anger towards us to cease. It kind of like reads similar to verse 3, but I actually have a link to Zechariah 13:9, okay, where it reads, And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, It is my people, and they shall say, The Lord is my God. Okay, so basically, the Jewish people are saying, turn us, O God, of our salvation. Okay, so the Jewish people want God to turn towards them, and the Jewish people don't want the anger of the Lord to be towards them and to cease. Okay, and so this is why it's linked to Zechariah 13:9, because once that third part is tried and is refined, if you like, the Lord is no longer going to be angry anymore, and so the Jewish people are gonna call on His name, and the Lord will say, "It is my people." Okay, so this is why I have a link to Zechariah 13:9. So this one requires a little bit of analytical thinking as well. Okay, now verse 5: Will thou be angry with us forever? Will thou draw out thine anger to all generations? I have this prophecy linked to Isaiah 28:21. Okay, for the Lord shall rise up as in Mount Perazim, he shall be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he might do his work, his strange work, and bring it to pass his act, his strange act. This strange act is actually Daniel's 70th week. And so you need to ask yourself, why does God need to pass this act or this strange act? It's because he needs to refine the Jewish people, okay, so that they can actually believe in Jesus and call him out, and Jesus will say, It is my people. So the Jewish people need to be refined during the tribulation period. This is why God has this strange act, okay, which is Daniel's 70th week. Okay, so let me just quickly turn the page here in the program, and I'll give you further commentary. So basically on verse 5, God wants to bring an end to Daniel's 70th week or the tribulation period to get rid of all the wicked, okay, on the earth, and to reign in peace as the King of Israel, and that the Jewish people will believe that Jesus is a real Messiah. Okay, now this verse 5, this prophecy can also be linked to Isaiah 60 verse 18 and Isaiah 62:1. For Zion's sake I will not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. Okay, so God is not going to forsake, the Jewish people. He's coming back, and he's gonna pull. He's not gonna hold his peace. He's gonna pull, get rid of evil, and he's coming back to Israel to be the king of Israel. Okay, so I think that this is a classic one. In Isaiah 62:1. Okay, also see Jeremiah 31 verses 34. Also see Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 15 and Isaiah 64:9. Okay, that you can link all these prophecies to verse 5. Okay, now then we head to verse 6. Will thou not revive us again, and thy people might rejoice in thee? Okay, so this verse 6, yeah, is actually linked to Hosea 6:2, which is actually a classic one to link it to this verse 6. After 2 days will he revive us. In the third day he will rise us up, and we shall live in his sight. Okay, so basically Jesus is coming back for the millennial kingdom, so he will revive, the Jewish people. It's also linked to Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 18 and 19, which is also a classic one. Okay, so read Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 18 and 19. Okay, now verse 7. Show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. Now, show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. This prophecy can be linked to Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 17. For I will restore health. So this is showing mercy. Okay, this is showing mercy. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, said the Lord, because they call thee and ask us, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Okay, now this verse 7 is also linked to Isaiah 62, verses 8 and 9. Okay, so let me just go over the page, and now we're going to be looking at verse 8. So on verse 8 it reads, I will hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace unto his people and to his saints, but let them not turn again to folly. Okay, so when Jesus comes back, he's going to speak peace unto his people. In fact, he's going to take all iniquity and all sins away from Jacob, away from the Jewish people. And so the Jewish people, not only is the Lord going to speak peace, but because he's going to be taking away their sins, they're going to understand what that peace is all about. And also don't forget the signs that are coming with Jesus. That will reign with him for the millennial kingdom. But of course, God doesn't want anyone to turn to folly. So for this verse 8 then, um, I have a link to Daniel 9:24. Why do I say this? It's because in Daniel 9:24 it says, in that 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins, okay, and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to begin uh, to bring in rather everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. So the fact I think that it's linked to Daniel 9:24 because the fact that God is going to speak peace unto his people and also to his saints is linked to Daniel 9:24 because uh, 70 weeks are determined, okay, to finish up with the transgression. So it's not going and to make end of sin. So it's not going to be any more transgression or sin. And because of these facts, there is going to be no more transgression or sin. Then God can speak to peace to His people and also to the saints, okay? Because God needs to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring an everlasting righteousness, okay? And to anoint the most holy. So this is why God needs to finish up, if you like, with the tribulation period, so that He can speak peace to His people and also to His saints, because Daniel 9:24 is the end of all sin, it's the end of transgression, okay? And that's why God will be able to speak peace, to the Jewish people and to the saints, because it's the end of sin, okay? So this prophecy requires some deep thinking, but it's also linked to Jude, verse 14 and 15 as a classic as well, in my view, because on verse 14 it reads, "Behold, the Lord coming with 10,000 of his saints." Okay, see how the Lord is coming to his saints. Okay, he will speak peace to his saints because he's coming with his saints. Okay, and also to verse 15 as well, because it reads, "To execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all the harsh speeches which ungodly sinner has spoken against him." Okay, so basically, Jesus is coming back, with the signs, if you like, to execute judgment and to get rid of iniquity, just like it says here in Daniel 9:24. So that he can finally speak peace, to his people. He's gonna get, under Romans 11:26, he's gonna get rid of all the iniquity of the Jewish people. So he will be able to speak peace to them and also to the saints. Okay, and it's also linked to Psalm 29:11. Okay, now verse 9. Surely his salvation is nigh them that fear him, that glory might dwell in our land. So for verse 9, I actually have a link to Psalm 24, verse 6, okay? And it reads, "This is the generation of them that seek him," okay? So his salvation is nigh them that fear him, okay? So this is a generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob, okay? So it's linked to Psalm 24, verse 6. It is also linked to Psalm 96, verse 14. Also, it can be linked to Isaiah chapter 35, verse 10, as a classic one. So read Isaiah 35, verse 10 as a classic one as to how you can link this verse 9. Okay. So I'm gonna keep moving on, so as not to keep the video too long. Okay. So verse 10: Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. So this reads really well like a poem, if you like. So for verse 10, then I have this prophecy linked to Isaiah chapter 62, verses 11 and 12. On verse 11, it reads, "Behold, the Lord has proclaimed unto the end of the world, say you to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh." Okay, so salvation cometh, he's having mercy. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And then on verse 12, "And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed." Okay, so basically, uh, you know, mercy is salvation, and the truth are made together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. So for peace, okay, and they shall call them the holy people. Okay, so the fact that they are holy people, they are going to be in peace. Okay, they are the redeemed, so they are going to be living in peace. They are the redeemed of the Lord, and thou shalt be called, sought out, a city not forsaken. Okay, now let's go to verse 11. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Now, this is a very difficult prophecy to link it to another prophecy. The nearest one that I can think of is Isaiah chapter 64, verse 1 and 2, especially this bit here, "and righteousness shall look down from heaven." So, the fact that it's saying truth shall spring out from the earth, meaning that Jesus, is coming back to be the King of Israel, for the millennial kingdom. Righteousness shall look down from heaven, meaning God the Father is going to be looking down from heaven. So, for this verse, then I have a link to Isaiah 64, verses 1 and 2. Now, verse 1 it reads, "Oh, that thou wouldest read the heavens, that thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might float down at thy presence." And then on verse 2 it reads, "As when the melting fire burneth, the fire causes the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thy adversaries, that the nations might tremble at thy presence. So this is kind of like rather poetic, but it's also a prophecy here in Isaiah chapter 64, verses 1 and 2. So you could say in a way that, righteousness shall look down from heaven, if you apply these two verses, especially, where it reads here, to make thy name known to thy adversaries, that the nations might tremble at thy presence. So this is kind of like the only one that I managed to find in the Bible to link this verse 11, which was a bit of a stretch, trying to find a prophecy to link it to. So I did my best on this one, and I think that Isaiah 64 verses 1 and 2, I think it does a good poetic job, of linking this verse 11 in Psalm, 85, as if God the Father, wishes to come down, uh, to bring his presence down to earth, if you like, so that, all the nations will tremble, at his presence. Okay. Now, for verse 12, then, yeah, the Lord shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. So basically, this prophecy here on verse 12 links to many other prophecies upon the second coming of Jesus. Of course, the land of Israel shall yield her increase, no doubt about it. God is going to restore the land of Israel. So you can link this prophecy here on verse 12 to Jeremiah 31, verse 12. Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of the Lord. Okay, so uh, the Lord's gonna bring goodness, okay, for wheat and for wine and for oil and for the young of the flock and for the herd. Okay, so you see how the land is going to be restored. Okay, and the soil shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow anymore at all. Okay, so I think this explains it all. It's actually a classic one, Jeremiah 31 verse 12, to link it to verse 12. Okay, now the final verse here then, righteousness shall go before him and shall set us in the way of his steps. Okay, so of course Jesus is going to take iniquity away from the Jewish people. He's also coming down with his saints, and righteousness shall go before him. So this verse 13, then I have it linked to Psalm 97, verse 12, and it reads, rejoice in the Lord, you righteous, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. Okay, so the Lord is going to be righteous. Okay, and you can also link it to Psalm 11:7, where it reads, for the righteousness of the Lord loveth righteousness, his countenance does behold the upright. Okay, so we know about these prophecies in Psalm 11:7 and 97:12 that righteousness shall go before him, before the Lord. Okay, all right, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.